Okay, so for those that don't know, I believe on October 22nd, a maintenance dropped that changed the way that we see replays. Okay, so as you can see, there was someone in Top Player Council brought up this as a concern. It's like this is kind of Monka-esque. Like people can kind of just cheat now, and there's no way to catch them. Um, People in side deck format, they can like side more cards than they actually side. So like they submit a side deck where they only side say one Forbidden Lance, but then in the game they side in two Forbidden Lance. And then because there's no way to check the replay, there's no way to catch those people. So that was essentially the crux of the concern, because now if you run a side deck event, cheating is much more difficult to just like moderate. So that was the primary concern. Um, Granted, not everybody took this seriously at first. um, so, as you know, the first thing TPC does when a serious problem occurs is meme. But after the meme is done, they go into a lot of discussion. So I'm not going to read this word for word. I've also redacted most of the names of everyone who like was sharing their opinion. Um, are you one of those people? Um, I forget if I included anything I said, but I, for the sake of anonymity, I've redacted any like names here because I know some people, they don't agree with everything they they see, and I know like this this TPC discussion was intended to be private, so um, I'm not sure how much people would have wanted their opinion going fully public. Um, like some people were more in favor of staying to side deck. Some people were very in favor of switching off of side deck, and I don't want to like perpet. Sorry. Uh, Potentially start any witch hunts for anybody. So that's why, for the sake of this, I've redacted pretty much almost all of the names. Um, the only people I've like left the names of are like Decade, because I know Decade is pretty like forward with his opinion. Like, um, he's pretty open that like however we choose to, or like however the format is played, he wants it to like follow, or it to like somewhat align to like the ladder and KC Cups. So if like a deck performs well in a DLM event, he wants it to be able to be used in like a KC Cup or a ladder event. So um, he also, I don't believe at any point really gave big opinions other than giving a poll out and saying, well, TPC will decide on this. So, um, oh wait, sorry. Anyway, continuing on. Um, so after the initial mention of, hey, this is a problem, um, very quickly it came to a discussion of, well, what do we do against this? Or like, what do we, like, how do we solve this? And very quickly there was discussion of, do we go to no side? Do we go to two deck? You know, these are like TPC people. Like they don't want to get like cheated. Like they want to play an honest game, and then they don't want to have to worry about like cheating occurring in their matches. Um, Caven7, welcome. So this is, I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna read this line by line because, as you can see, it's a lot of words. Um, and as a Yu-Gi-Oh player, it's a little too much. um, but But rest assured, there is like a great deal of discussion going on or there was a great deal of discussion going on in TPC that do we stick to side deck? Do we go to two deck? There is discussion of um, how much is switching the format gonna change? Like, if people are gonna cheat, they're gonna cheat anyway. That you see that argument like a fair amount through this discussion. Um, and now, this is a one point. I actually want to highlight this. So, um, this is a bit of anecdotal. However, this point was calling back to a battle phase tournament a few. It must have been at least a month ago, maybe more, possibly, where Witchcrafter was tier one. However, a lot of people who were running Witchcrafter were getting upset because every game, or every game two, they would just get hit by Last Day of Witch, and it's like, well, surely some people are citing Last Day of Witch, but not everybody is citing it. So then they do. There's a card where you can see your opponent's deck, and then when they used that card against some of the people using Last Day of Witch, what they found was a lot of these people who were using multiple copies of Last Day of Witch were actually just cheating. Like, they would submit a side deck with two copies, and then when they were playing, they would actually side three in. And this was a free tournament. This was for $10. Now imagine if $1,400 are on the line. If people are willing to cheat for $10, what do you think they're gonna do for 1,400? Like, these, like, this is very serious concerns. You know, like, people will, people are crazy. You know, but the point is, with side deck, there's not a whole lot you can do other than change the format, which now goes to a lot of the bigger posts about people talking about, all right, how do we like fix our problem? And a lot of people actually came out in favor of switching to a side deck format or a two deck format. I'm not going to read this all. I'm going to keep it on the screen. Needless to say, there were essays written in TPC chat about like this topic. So fret not. Like, was this like a rash decision? Was this like, oh, we don't know what to do, just change the format, like, quick, fix it? Like, no. Like, this was a reaction. You can argue if it was an overreaction or not, but this was like a very measured reaction to a change in the game that would potentially promote cheating, or potentially make cheating difficult to catch. So Decade on the 23rd posts a poll saying, hey guys, I know a lot of you have been talking about should we do side deck or not. So there was some people that like went for like, hey, alright guys, let's talk this through. And then there were other people that were like, no, let's not talk this through. So I know multiple people said, hey, I'm going to tell my team about this, and like I'll ask them what they think. Because, you know, a lot of people in TPC are members of, you know, teams or clans or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, since not everybody who would want to give input is in TPC, a lot of the people who are on TPC asked, or like they reached out for opinions, if anyone has like really good ideas on like how do we solve this problem. The game becomes less skillful with outside. However, if you can't really enforce like the rules, then it's better to change the format so that you can enforce the rules, I guess, is the what most people agreed on. So at this point, it was, I don't want to say leaked, but because there was so much discussion from TPC and people were reaching out, asking for other opinions, some people on the mod team actually heard about it, so someone like came over and said their piece. And on the mod team, they said that from a moderation angle, I'd like my mod team to be able to either ask for screen recordings on mobile or screen share on PC in high stakes scenarios. We could ask for a user to record a replay that would show us their hands, sets, etc. It's the only way I could see us being able to do proper replay checks, download such and such, you know? So, um, in essence, in order to keep side deck format, we would, in order to like enforce the rules, you would have to ask everybody to run, or not, sorry, not run. You'd have to ask everybody to download some sort of like screen recording device, and uh, someone immediately responded with, "Yeah, like my computer sucks. I can't do that." Um, if there are people in TPC that can't record their games, you know for certain that there must be hundreds of people outside of TPC that they wouldn't be able to record their games. Like, they might want to participate in DLM events, but if they can't record their games, they might be like barred from DLM events because they have no way to prove that they're not cheating, essentially. So, um, I think someone even, as you can see here, someone even advocated for screen recording like all top 32 matches. In order to keep side deck, there was a great push for if we're gonna keep side deck, we need some way to enforce the rules. And if we're gonna enforce the rules, that probably means that we're gonna have to record all the games from both sides. But recording for all the games from both sides means if you play on phone, guess what? You're gonna have to record your phone. Like, if you don't know how to do that, you're either gonna have to learn, or you're not allowed to play DLM events. Okay, this was my favorite part of the discussion. Some guy was like, from the way I see it, the game, knowing how to make a good side deck gives you a 40% more chances of winning a match. Removing that would be difficult for me. How do you get 40%? 17 plus 23. Alright. Alright, thanks. Yep. I understand now. Thank you. Thanks for the explanation. From here, it's a lot of like, yeah, I like side deck too, but I think there's some issues that um, like sticking to side deck makes the format very exploitable. It's really open to cheating. For these reasons, we should stop using side deck instead, or we should stop using side deck and instead do a different format. And granted, this opinion was not uniform. There are like, I'm pretty sure everybody in the top player council agreed that side deck is good. It's just that people were like, is this worth switching off of side deck? Like, is the risk of cheating worth sticking to side deck, or is it worth switching off of side deck? So, just to give you an example, there was discussion and there was like people voicing their opinions in favor of sticking to side deck. So, there's that. And then finally, the final vote. Decade posted this 2 days after posting the poll, so there was time for people to discuss. And with 8 responses, 25% said, alright, keep side deck. 25% said they don't really care, just do whatever. And then half said, no, we need a change. So then there was a breakdown of, okay, what format do you prefer? So the options are either keep same format with side deck, one deck no side KCGT format with 3 different decks with different skills, characters, the format that Konami used in the KCGT, as many people know. 2 decks, win with both, with no restrictions, just that you have to have a different character and skill. And then a last option of just whatever you don't care about, like what format it is. And as you can see, 25 people, or 25% said, all right, let's stick to side deck format. And when they chose to vote, they decided to stick to side deck format. But the people who said, all the people who said change voted for a change in format, but the people who said either is fine did share their opinion of, even though I think either is fine, I think that we should switch formats. And one deck no side and 2 deck were both equally represented in votes. Also, some people accidentally voted multiple times, which I'm not gonna say anything about that. Top player council can't remember they voted. This is ultimately what decided the format change. So if you are wondering, why is DLM running no side deck events? Why are they why aren't they doing side deck? Side deck is so good. This is to show that there was a change in the replay features. There was a lot of discussion talking about the pros and cons of staying on side deck. Ultimately, there was a vote. People shared their opinions. Mods discussed if we do stay in side deck, what are we gonna have to do to stick to side deck? And 17 plus 23 does equal 40. Yeah, that's how we get to the final vote in total. And I think that covers everything.